and they're all excited, or as my kid would say, they're so excited.
I come in an hour. Woo!
Yeah, and hey, that's Elle Newlands, by the way, for you folks that don't see the words under her. Um,
I
I
get it.
I love that they let you keep your accent and they didn't try and smooth it out like Mike Myers had to do for Shrek. Shrek originally sounded more Scottish than the wee kids. They're not going to understand them, so he had to smooth it over. It's like not Horizon, no.
I think with her it was kind of like I just stormed the closet. It was like I just walked into my closet, my 2 by foot by 3 foot like slidey closet that's like full of egg crate and a really nice mic, and I just let them have it. I was like, hey, what's happening here? I was totally full on. No, I'm kidding. But the one thing I will say, I made a tweet, I think it was yesterday, where I was like, I send Sam voice, like I send him like Scottish colloquialisms and
Uh,
Scottish like ideas. I sent him one. But he wrote back and he's like, I think that's a good idea. We should get a folder going. And they actually like Sam was so incredibly I love Sam. He was so incredibly sweet. When I first started this, he was like, and if you have anything to add, and I was like, oh,
oh, you're asking the wrong
oh,
person.
oh, you didn't just say that. You didn't just say that. You didn't give me permission to start Ouijaing it all over the place. And for anybody from Scotland, that's Glasgow. We're Glaswegians, shortened to Ouija's. So all of a sudden, I'm Ouijaing all over the place. So yes, I'm actually Scottish. Scotland forever.
I have not heard. Hey, by the way,
Oh wow.
yeah, and my wife and I went to Europe for our honeymoon back in 2010. We never got to go to Scotland. I wanted to go. I wanted to visit the motherland, but I got a hat, and I think I got it. I think I got it over on Second Street in Santa Monica at the King's Head pub where they have like British stuff.
King's Heed.
The King's Head.
They
Yeah.
have a lot of British stuff. And weirdly enough, I keep forgetting it's there and I keep ordering stuff off Amazon. I'm buying like Scottish crisps and chips.
Yeah, like in your candy bars. And have you
Yeah,
ever the deep fried Mars bar? Are you guys proud of that?
yeah, yep, for sure. And the way I buy is I buy my Mars bar and then I put it in the freezer,
Uh,
and then I take it out of the freezer and then I put it into chunks and I eat like slices.
and I've heard, Glaswegian and Glasgow, as a lot of the locals like to call it. And I've heard of the Glasgow kiss, which is a headbutt.
Yep, that sure is.
Yeah, heard of that. But I've never, like, I had a friend who did the Fringe Festival, which I think is Edinburgh.
It is.
And yeah, he said Scotland is the most beautiful country, full of lush greenery.
It is.
And then suddenly it rains sideways for 30 minutes.
But that's why it's so green.
Yeah.
Well, that's a Billy Connolly joke. Do you know Billy?
Yeah.
You know Billy
Oh,
Connolly.
yeah. Everybody knows Billy Connolly.
And that is his total thing. Is like he's like the rain goes sideways, and I mean it's Scotland is it's I think his joke was in Scotland you're blue, and when you turn white that's a suntan. So
I
that's a bit
the
of a joke.
Now we're both pasty skinned, Anglos, I suppose. And I worked with a comic once who was more Irish, but he was redhead, freckle face like me, and he had the best line ever for being pasty skinned. He said, I'm so pale. I once got sunburned standing next to a kid with a bright future." So yeah, that's what we're bringing to the table here. And I think what people would love to see is or at least love to hear about is, and I always ask this of my fellow legends. And welcome to the party, by the way. Welcome Horizon to the party. Welcome Elle to the party. Here she is. I always ask, was it one audition? Did you get a call back? Was it a process? Some people got it after one. I had to do a callback.
So how it worked for me was I was moving house. It was right before pandemic.
Okay.
Actually, it might have been no, it was in the pandemic. It was like very first few weeks of the pandemic. I think
Okay.
it was
So
April.
April-ish. Yeah.
Yeah, March, end of March, April. And so I heard from Terry Douglas, who's the casting director, and she was like, "Hey, this Scottish role come in. I pitched you for it. You really need to read for this. It's awesome." I didn't know
Hmm.
what it was. My agent Dean reached out to me. He's like, "Hey, we pitched you." It's like everyone's pitching me. The universe was like, "All right, we're we're gonna do you a solid here." So I threw the audition like down because I was moving, and I was like, "All right, I really need to do this." But it was, the character was just so like fun that I didn't even feel like an audition. I was just like, all right, this is what I got. So then, yes, I did get a call back. And by that time, I was in my new place
Hmm.
and I was in my closet. And then, hence, the whole season 7 of Apex Legends for Horizon was recorded in an airless, tight, no light closet. I mean, they were doing Zoom. I mean, you couldn't even see me. I looked like I was in a badger set. You know, it was like I was down a rabbit hole because you couldn't see me. It was just like my eyes and my teeth. Um, and so that kind of became my legend story. And I think she was her call sign, if that's what we want to call it, or we Top Gun.
Yeah. By the way, I love the background. We're playing the Zoom game. Hey, what's that behind you? And I love the rustic background. The only thing you're missing is a roaring fireplace and a glass of single malt.
Well, I have a
You know.
roaring fireplace downstairs, and I found out now. I'm going to butcher this word. Hygge. Have no idea how to pronounce that.
Oh God, neither do I. Is that
Hygge?
Is that Welsh for God's sakes?
No, I think it's Swedish, and it's,
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
so I had posted a picture of, like, I lit a fire. I have a pot belly stove in my place, and I'd lit a
Okay.
fire, and I posted a picture of the first fire I had lit because I'm like, I make fire.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm like a cave woman.
Yeah.
And someone was like, that's the most, whatever, Higgy. Let's just say Higgy. I'm totally butchering it. And it sounds funny in my accent, so let's just run with that.
Yeah.
That's the most Higgy thing I've ever seen. And I was like, what? And so I learned that apparently I live in IKEA.
Yeah.
That's,
Well, I was saying either that or it's a cabinet at IKEA, and it's on aisle 7, row 5. See, what you're going to find out is there's this entire ecosystem of people who know everything about the game, and they're going to hit you with questions. You're going to say, with the what now and the who? I don't know. I'm constantly telling them, hey, I have no idea. And get ready for that. Get ready to get hit with all kinds of like deep questions about Horizon and about what's your favorite weapon. And at this point, we have to tell you folks, she's never played Apex Legends.
no, sorry.
She does not. Do you own a console? Any kind
No.
of console? Okay, we're gonna have to crowdfund you a console. I
Yeah,
think.
I used to have a an Xbox.
Okay,
But that was
if
it.
you have a PC, do you have a PC or do you
And
use a Mac?
I
Okay,
used,
okay, gotcha. Because the ways that you can play Apex, it's a free to play game. You can download it onto your Xbox, your PS4, 5, or your PC, and you can play. And it's an incredibly, I don't want to say complicated game because you can learn it fairly quickly. But as far as playing it well, that's another story. I've been playing it for over a year and I still suck at it just because everyone else in it is good
right.
and I'm no good. And you have to have these lightning quick reflexes and you have to know, I mean, just all this kind of stuff. But the thing that people are really responding to in the game is not just the gameplay. And as you know, you've done tons of games, the characters. And
Yeah.
the thing about Horizon, the short that they came out with last week moves people incredibly.
Yes.
And it, for somebody who does not have kids, you had to call upon acting reserves because you're not a mama. You are like a mama. You're very nurturing, as we talked about. You have a horse, so
I have a
yeah,
horse and a dog, and they're kind of like my children.
right. Your kids. So I mean, you've done a lot of the acting. What do you do when you're asked to play a mom who's having to make such a tragic choice? What do you call on?
Well, for me, I've had things in my life that, I've had my own tragedies and traumas and things that have happened in the past, so you go to your emotional reserves, and
Right.
you pull from something that, something that happened to you in the past, and you just bring it in that moment.
Right. So for you, because this is always a choice with everybody, there are two, speaking broadly, there are two acting choices or acting approaches. One is method, where you really are going to work yourself up into that headspace. And the other is, I'm going to pretend, and that'll be it. And you might end up in that headspace, but for the most part, you're going to portray it and not, breathe it in that moment. And are you more of one than the other, or are you just sort of whatever feels right in that moment?
Uh, I'm kind of a fly by the seat of my pants. Like, ask me that question again, because I was actually reading some of the stuff, and
Oh, you can do either. Yeah.
So somebody was talking about that I had a horse, and I was like, oh my god, he said I had a horse.
Ah.
Sorry, ask me that question again.
Well, do you like to try and imagine you're in that situation, work yourself up into the emotion of the character, or do you just sort of portray it, use technique?
I mean, so when I first read my script, I cried. Like when I first read the script, I cried, and I got to see like the scratch track of what was, or the scratch video of what was coming down the pike. I had no clue, none, that it was going to look the way it did in the end. Because wow, they did such incredible work, and so I, I was like, I read it, and I just got it. I was like, I get this. Like, I have empathy. I was like, I get it. I can understand what that must feel like.
Right.
So, I don't know. The material, when the material's there.
Yeah. Actors, we're empathetic sorts. We can, yeah. I mean, I always talked about this. As an actor, your emotions are always right under the surface. They're right here. And as soon as I had kids, mine sort of sometimes just sort of come out. Sometimes you just get so connected. When you start caring about something else more than you tend to care about yourself, it just happens.
Yeah. I think like, I don't know. For me, it's been a year, right? We've all had this year, and I have had stuff that came before this year that happened in my life as I've grown as a person. And right. So you just draw from it, and you pull from, I don't know. I think like for me as an actor, I definitely tend to get into that headspace, like whatever if it's an emotional, moment like that, I definitely get into that headspace.
Yeah. I remember you told me, we were chatting the other day, and you said you have a maternal side to you. And I instantly thought about, I think I saw, it might have been I don't know if you have Instagram or if it was something you put on Twitter, but your horse, you were watching your horse run around, and the way you were talking to the horse, I thought, oh, it's like she's talking to a 3-year-old that's running around. Are you going to get in the water? Are you going to get in the water?
That's right.
Yeah. She sounds like a mama.
Yeah, she was gonna roll in when it was raining, and I had just cleaned her, and she was gonna roll in this puddle, and I was like, don't you dare roll in that puddle. Oh, you're gonna roll in that puddle. Oh, you're gonna roll in that puddle. And meanwhile she's running around bucking and kicking out, and horse farts and all the rest of it. She's having a good old time, and I'm just like concerned that she's gonna get all dirty. So yeah, I was basically like, I'm like this mom. That mom.
How long have you been a horse person? I get maybe your whole life, I guess, but when did you start riding, and when you get a horse and all that?
I mean, you sort of just gave a spoiler there, because people don't realize that I've got hoofs and horse legs from the waist down. I mean, they think I'm a queen, so asking me when I became a horse person.
Yeah, that's true. It's
centauress.
2020. What else can we expect?
I'm a centauress. I've ridden horses and loved horses and been around horses my whole life. So
it's just the thing, right? I rode a pony at the fair, and although you must have done this, you've been in LA for 20 years now, you say?
17 years.
17 years. Okay. The Hollywood Moonlight Ride, or is it the Twilight Ride in the Hollywood Hills? I think it's I can't remember the name of the ranch. Yeah. But you go to the ranch, you get a horse, you ride with a group if you want, and they take you down to the this little cantina in Burbank. And then you ride through the Hollywood Hills. and usually do it at night, or well, at twilight, so you can see the sun setting.
Raj said, wanted to bop in. You all know how lucky you are to have Elle be part of this game. Awesome human, awesome game, awesome community, and on Chris is awesome. Wow, Roger.
Hey, Roger, I don't appreciate your shit talking, all right? You're this far away from getting band hammered, all right?
Like, everything's awesome.
Yeah. Roger's with us, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, and it's, well, Roger, being one of the original legends, has done this dog and pony show before. See how I tied all that in? And he's leaving now. Okay, fine. That's like a cameo. That's like a cameo. Is this like an Aaron Spelling show where he says, I'm going to get John Ritter to do a cameo over on Charlie's Angels? And that, man, I'm aging myself at this point.
Oh, my God. What's Charlie's Angels is that?
Come on. Well, that's true. You're too young. I probably got like 10 years on you. Charlie's Angels is a show from the 70s that was massive.
Yeah, but remember your audience. We're going to have a lot of...
They know me. They know that I don't... They know that they're talking to an old man here. And actually, some of my audience is just old enough to be basically aware of it. But yeah. Charlie's Angels was 3 beautiful ladies that solved crimes. And one of them was Farrah Fawcett. And she became like the blonde of the 70s and all that. My wife hated the show and never watched it because she thought, all they did was look pretty. I said, no, they solve crimes and all that. And I was like 8 years old going, what's this strange feeling that I'm getting as I'm watching these?
Okay.
No, it's an 18+ stream, you know. It's an 8-year-old noticing girls for the first time. So yeah.
Lordy. I'm done hot over here.
Yeah, I doubt I'm going to be able to make you blush. I've never...
Probably not.
What does it take to make a Scotsman blush? A Scotswoman blush? I don't know.
I mean, it's hard. We have no filter. I mean, we've got no filter. We like to, I don't know, keep it real, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. Part of it is like, I've had to pull back a lot since I moved to California because it's a little more PC and, and that's been hard for me because I
remember we used to be at the same agency. Okay. The first time I met you, you were sitting on the couch in the agency and you were saying something I just remember how you pronounced it. Hey, people are being a bunch of pussies about this weather.
Did I?
Yeah, you said that. It might have been about weather. You definitely said the P word. And I thought, just the way you pronounced it.
That's all Scottish people talk about is the weather. So, it's like I go home and it's like the weather, how many colds you've had or what bunions are acting up or if your back's sore or and that's pretty much it. It's just like the weather and health. Like those are the 2 main topics of conversation that circle around. Well, maybe it's the older Scottish people, not the younger Scottish people, but like the older Scottish people, their main topics of conversation are the weather. I think that's probably the topic of conversation is the weather.
I guess.
And I don't know why, because we don't ever get different weather. It just rains all the time. So,
I will say my brother, when he was, he had a furlough, he served a year in Iraq. And this is back around, I think, 06-ish. And for his 2 weeks off, he went to London for a week and he went to Edinburgh. And he said, London was okay, but Edinburgh was great. He says, I just love Scottish people. They were real. They were fun. They were cool. They didn't put on airs. And I guess maybe London turned him off a little bit, that it was too much of, I don't know. Maybe he thought it was too stodgy. And I think he liked how they just sort of hung loose in Scotland.
Yeah, I mean, Scottish people are just, they're pretty down to earth, salt of the earth folks. So that's kind of like where I'm from. That's my peeps.
I could tell you're distracted by the chat going by too. All the random stuff people are putting up there.
Yeah, I'm like,
we'll do questions soon. Don't worry, we'll get to that.
Asking about my horse.
Oh, you can talk about your horse.
Oh no, it's fine.
No, you don't want to. You want to protect your horse's privacy.
Yeah, she's, and she's got her own thing going on, so I really do have to protect my horse's privacy.
Gotcha. Okay. Um, as far as the accent goes, has it softened a bit since you've been here, like unconsciously, or do you sometimes soften it a bit just for ease of communication?
Well, when I talk on the phone, I talk in an American accent.
Do you really?
Yeah,
Just
I yeah, I don't no. No, I just like, I just can't I can talk like this because no one would no one know what I'm saying. So like I'm just like, hey, I've got a problem, you need to fix it. So hi, like fix it now.
you know what? I'm always amazed at this. Brits, Scots, Irish, they always seem to be able to handle the American accent, whereas you ask an average American to attempt a Scottish or an English or an Irish accent, and we just fucking mangle it. We just can't seem to get the rhythms, the nuances. It's hard work for me, and I freaking booked a Craig Ferguson sound alike for God's sakes. Your average Joe has no prayer, but every Brit, Scot, Irish person that comes over here seems to be able to do it with no real trick. I don't know why that is. Is our accent that easy?
No, I have an answer to that because
Okay.
we grow up from like a very very young age. We grow up with American TV, so if you're a mimicker like I am, because I mimic accents,
Hmm.
so from a very young age I was mimicking accents. So I've been hearing the American accent my whole life. So by the
Okay.
time I came here, it was almost like I'd already lived here because I'd been hearing it my whole life. Because there's hard. I mean, when I was younger, I mean, there was really no Scottish TV. It was mostly imports from America, and I watched American movies, and so I guess like for me, it was just something I had all along. I was hearing it.
That sounds strange to me to grow up in a country where they literally have kind of no TV programs that they make themselves. Everything has to be from somewhere else. No broadcasting of any kind. I mean, you had
Uh,
radio, obviously, but
well, I mean, there is now, but when I was a kid, it was like, no, there really wasn't. I mean, there was like some shows that were British made, but for the most part, America was the hub. It was like,
yeah,
and I will say that when I was a little girl, I would walk around telling everybody, like, I'm going to live in America. I'm going to live in California, like from when I was like, as from when I could speak. So the fact that I'm here is kind of like,
what is that like to grow up in a like? Are they crabs in a bucket over there? They'll try and pull you back down if you have such lofty aspirations, or do they say, "No, go for it, go after it"?
well, where I grew up, I mean, I'm not going to say like people were mean or anything, but I probably sounded like I was insane growing up because I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna live in California. I'm gonna be an actress. I'm gonna go out and do, my thing. And people were probably like, yeah, yeah, pat me on the head. Okay, good girl. Mm-hmm. Go eat your haggis. Uh, so,
Haggis.
but yeah,
That,
haggis.
thank you for not bringing haggis with you. I've heard about it. I've not tried it. I don't think it's going to be on my list. I'm not.
Uh, I, no, it's not something you should put on your list.
I'm not in a hurry. I'll just put
No,
it that way. Yeah,
yeah.
I'll just put it that way. Um, in the meantime, of all the games you've done, like this being the most recent, now of course you have other projects that are happening, but of course you have NDAs, so you can't talk about them.
Yeah.
But are there other games that you've done that are still kind of current that people can see you in, hear you in, play your character?
Well, so I have, I think last count, I have 18 voices in World of Warcraft.
Holy shite!
Yeah, I
That's a
think I'm
lot.
18 or 19. But my three main characters in World of Warcraft, I'm Moira Thorison, who's Queen Bronzebeard. I'm also Tess Greymane, and I do Valtois. Valtois is she's a Nightborn. She's kind of an evil character.
Okay.
Uh, So, and then I have, what else? I'm Darth Savick in Star Wars: The Old Republic.
Oh,
She's kind of
nice.
she's an evil character. She was quite a big arc in this last one, which I was like, oh. And I think we were talking about it. I am Ingrid in Asgard's Wrath, which is a big VR, beautiful VR game. Um, I did Forge Sister Alia in Darksiders 2, and then I was also in Darksiders 3. I think that I was in Halo 4. as Grant, who Tedra Grant, who's a Spartan. But
Mm-hmm.
we were sort of like an offshoot, and we did like a bunch of mocap, and it was like a Spartan series they were doing alongside the video game, which
Right.
is very cool. What else? I'm in Skylanders. I play Avril, the Frost Elf in Skylanders, and then I'm also in another Skylanders. That's Swap Force, and then I'm in the next one where I play an American. I'm a princess, and I'm like a princess, American princess character. Uh,
Jeez, that's already a lot. Can't believe you remember all that stuff.
yeah, I do a lot of games. Like that's what we were talking about. I've been very lucky. Like I've gotten in on like niche on the games. So
Yeah, I had a period of time where I was doing a lot of them, and I started to pull back when I started doing a lot of animation to protect my voice because, as you know, games can be a bit throat rippy, so you have to be careful. But yeah, I had a period of time early to mid aughts up into almost around 2010 where I was doing a ton of them, and it's something that unless you have a trick to really preserve your voice, I almost feel like there's a shelf life to the really yelly parts of it. So you also sing, correct?
I do, yes.
Do you have tricks for your throat that help with singing that you find work for voiceover just to preserve it?
I think it's really important to try and work from your diaphragm. Like if you're doing,
Yeah.
if you're doing like the screaming or you're doing like very loud or, intense, it's like I try to work from my diaphragm. And also just take breaks. I mean, there's some games where we've been in really long sessions and I've just said, listen, guys, my voice is kind of cracking and I need to quit because I'm losing my voice as we speak. So I think it's just you have to treat it like it's an instrument and it's a bodily part. You can't forget that. So you have to respect it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, I have the is it Nimjong or it's like this.
I've got it.
People call
Nimjam.
it the Fred juice. They call it like the Fred tartar juice. They call it Fred juice. It's like because he takes
Nimjam Papacoa. I've got it in the kitchen.
Yeah,
Started using it in January.
Amazing stuff. That's really cool stuff.
I may go have some now because I was having a glass of wine watching election returns last night because the wife and I needed to take the edge off, and I think I took off too much edge. I think I sanded that edge down way too much, and I woke up thinking, yeah, okay, it's airborne time.
Ruh-roh.
Okay, let's see. Cam Tort 7 says, anyone, Cara said, I'm thinking Ever said, that you look like Janet from The Good Place. I don't know who Janet from The Good Place is, so I don't, and perhaps neither does Elle.
Yeah, I don't know.
Let's see. CT Caps fan, how many other legends have you interacted with? Well, Well, you're in the text thread now.
I don't know what that means. How many have I interacted?
Well, have you met, talked to, like you're friends with some of us already? Like Roger, me. You've worked with some of the others, I'm sure, at some point.
Yeah, I know. Well, yeah, I know you and Roger from before times.
From work, from business.
And then who have I worked with? Anyone else? I worked on a project. I worked with JB quite a bit.
JB's great
as a director. He does a lot of Blizzard stuff.
He does.
I'm also like a bunch of voices in Hearthstone. I don't know if anyone plays Hearthstone, but one of my favorites is I'm AFK. Oh, are we still fighting? Like she's just this, she eats cupcakes, and there's like we did this one session where I just sang. I don't even remember what I sang. I just sang like that, like the crazy one. So
what is that from?
From Hearthstone. That's another Blizzard. It's like one of those phone games.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah.
Okay. That's that. I've said this before. I've learned this about video games. If you've dreamt it, imagined it, or seen it, it's in a game somewhere. There's a game for everything. I mean, there's a game I played on this stream earlier in the year called Goat Simulator.
Wow.
Yeah, you actually you take a goat, and you go do stuff around town. That's the game. I just described the entire game to you.
That sounds very Scottish.
Yeah.
That sounds like something we do in Scotland. Yeah, I'm just gonna go walk my goat.
Yeah. Well, that we were kidding about this earlier on Twitter, but because of your accent, there are certain words that you've identified as, you know, they're cute when they're said with a Scottish accent. And I started thinking, yeah, food, boot, good. Those are all cute Scottish accent words. But I thought, if you were to say my favorite food is purple Skittles, I would think that's probably the cutest Scottish phrase that there is.
My favorite food is purple Skittles.
That's
and I
not
said
bad.
one of the ones is purple burglar alarm. And then Squirrel is like probably everyone's favorite. Squirrel.
Squiddle? Oh, yeah, Squaddle.
Squirrel,
Yeah.
and Giddle.
Yeah.
She's nice Giddle.
Right. Where is the thickest Scottish accent? What part of Scotland do you go where you realize I'm not going to even be able to understand what they're saying? Is there one?
Aberdeen.
Aberdeen?
Aberdeen.
Is that like way up north, like northeast?
And like go and do it, bend the garden. I like Aberdonians. Like if you Google like interviews with people with men from Aberdeen, you will just be you're like, what's happening right now? Yeah.
Are they just that tucked away where they just don't get other people coming in that much?
They just have a very, very specific brogue. Like it's an East Coast brogue, but Aberdeenshire has like a very specific, and they say things like fit Ken, go and do like bend the kitchen. Like they have their own language.
Well, the funny thing is that I grew up in the deep South in the United States, and the South is populated by a lot of Scotch and Irish that they came over. They eventually made their way down Appalachia, the Appalachian mountain range that goes up through. A lot of Scots ended up somewhere in the mountains. I don't know how they found it, but that's where they wanted to settle. And hillbilly music is really heavily influenced by Irish and Scottish music. And so a lot of the Southern accent seems to be influenced by some Scottish, some Irish, and some English. You know, the dialect, the accents, all of it, they're kind of cousins. Because if you get up into Appalachia, you're going to meet some people. They don't make any sense to, you know, if you ain't come down from the mountain, Ale. I like that name, Ale.
That's actually one of my favorite accents because I have a friend at my barn where I keep my horse. And I think he must be from that area because that's how he talks. Like, he's like, I'm trying to think like, how you doing there, Ale? How's it going? How you doing there, Ale? And that's like, Ale, that's exactly how he says
Ale.
Like,
that's, you know, there are a lot of, it could be from a part of Texas, that could be from more of a mountainous area, but definitely sounds almost more Southern than Western, because you can never really tell. But when I went to school, it was up at the base of Appalachia, University of Georgia. And there was a guy in our dorm hall that was very Appalachian. And he said, man, last night I drank enough liquor to float a battleship. Yeah. So that was our Aberdeen right there.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's see where everybody's from. Anyone here watching that's from Scotland? I would imagine no, otherwise you might have said so. But anyone here from Europe? Probably not, because it's 8 p.m., almost 8 p.m., and they're asleep. Or maybe, let's see. No, okay, I'm from Appalachia. Sure you are, quick, Benji. Maybe not. Oklahoma, West Virginia, West by God, Virginia. That is Appalachia. There you go. San Francisco, born of an East End London mum. Have you ever done the East Ender accent? You could probably do a pretty decent London accent. I mean, those are only about 50 of them.
Yeah, like, you know, like going down the apples and pears.
Yeah. Is that the East Ender?
Rhyming slang, yeah. It's like Cockney. No, not saying. No, I'm saying.
Yeah, apparently
apples and pears.
Cockney is, you're not proper Cockney unless you're within range of the bell that rings in this particular church.
Now you're just doing like, you know, Michael Caine. That's like what
No, Michael Caine's when I pinch my throat. It's only supposed to blow the bloody doors off.
It's Michael Caine.
I put pauses in my lines for no reason.
There.
I'm the British Christopher Walken.
He is.
Yeah, kind of.
And then we have our Sean Sean.
May he rest in peace.
Yeah, 007, license to thrill. All the ladies love. 007. I used to be a milkman. Wink, wink.
I was a milkman, and then I was rolling in the hay with Pushy. That's a literal fact.
It is. From Sean. All
There
the
was-
ladies love 007.
And he never managed to quite shake that burr, even when he played a Russian sub-captain.
That was my joke. Have you seen that stand-up joke?
Everybody did that joke, though. That was the thing, is
I
that
did it. Just come on.
they were doing that joke in 1990 when the movie came out.
I was just, my whole stand-up premise was like I would just randomly burst into Sean. It was like weird, and I did this joke, and it was my best. It was the most well-received joke where I said, you know, he's a captain on a Russian _ captain Russian submarine, and he's like, fellow comrades on this Russian submarine, this is your captain speaking. I am a card-carrying member of the Communist Party. So let's go bomb the shit out of these Yankee bastards.
And then we'll eat some borscht.
Aye. Or some haggis.
You must know of, at least must know of Ben Elton, the
I
British
know who Ben
comedian.
Elton is.
Yeah, he had a great line about Roger Moore, who apparently had the same problem. He played a German SS officer in a movie, and he says every other character, every other actor is in their characters. Sieg Heil, mein Führer! And Roger Moore was always, oh, indeed. He couldn't shake that proper British that he was. Always very, yes.
Yes, he's very proper.
Exactly. So, yeah. All right. I guess I'll throw it to some questions, because I tell you what, before we move to the questions, when you were recording Horizon, because people always like to know this too, how much of your own, because you talked about this, you brought a couple of ideas to them. Have they let you riff a little bit and get some of that into the game? I mean, we're going to find out later when we play,
Yeah.
Assuming I get on, because I don't know, I may not have a fucking prayer of getting in, because it's going to be a long queue.
Yeah, I mean, yes, they didn't. I mean, I didn't riff because I'm respecting.
You respect the written copy, but
you know, they would, like, Sam would have written something a certain way, or the guy would be like doing research, and they would be like, oh, I thought that was like a Scottish thing, and I'm like, well, it kind of is, but it would probably be better if I said it this way. Yeah. And then I would just add, and there's some humdingers in there. I can't wait to, like, I don't know how this really works, because, you know, I don't play the game, so, but I'm sure these lines come out in game, and so I think
they do. Like, yeah. Well, I'm sure you remember the experience of saying 301 here, or you know, Arcstar here. You know, you have to say every single weapon 3 different ways, and over again, like a lot of video games. You get your script, and it doesn't look like a normal script. It is a spreadsheet of just line after line after line. Yeah. And except this game, blessedly, you'll notice you don't have to do the death noises.
I don't think I did. I think I did. I mean, it was mostly just like the pitch would change because you're for different, like, environments. Right. It would be like different environments would change. So, but I think, like, honestly, I mean, it was funny at the beginning. It's weird. It's like at the beginning, I don't know, Sam just came out and he's like, you know, I kind of see her like a Mrs. Doubtfire. And I was like, I know what he was saying. Like, I get it. It's like, she's probably the most famous. He was trying to convey that she's very nurturing, and you know, because at the end where she's like, oh, sweeties, where she sits down and she does her little thing, like, you know, where she at the end where she's talking about the dinosaurs, and I think that's what he was going for, was like that sweet kind of but in my head, and I don't know, this might make me sound really daft, but I thought she was an older character because I hadn't really seen any artwork. But at the beginning, I think like the voice print that I sort of chose for this character, I sort of thought I was sort of putting her as a little older. But it's funny because even though I played it that way, it didn't. When I hear my lines, I'm like, it didn't translate. It didn't come out that way. I think it was more I was trying to capture that essence of a nurturing, you know, kind of loving, fun. And then I saw how she is in game, and I'm like, well, that's interesting.
Yeah. Well, yes, this is the dichotomy. It's a murder game. You're blowing everybody away. It's a very violent game, but they have pauses for characters. And so,
Yeah.
yes, these characters, these fully developed characters exist in an ultra violent game. And here to cop to that is Ashley Reed. She's one of the writers. She's in the chat. Ashmash Reed. That's Ashley Reed.
Hi,
So,
Ashley.
she's saying hello. Yeah, 10 minutes to the new season. Now, I have a question for the chat. Do you have to update, or is the season just ready to go? Because I tried to update earlier and nothing happened. It just says, oh, yeah, it's season 6. So that's what I don't know is like, all right, well, what the hell? What do we do? You know? So, you know, my guess is we just turn it on. You have to update? Okay, yeah. So it's going to take an update. Update is still not available. So, all right, yeah. Well, then we'll take some questions. Anyone on the chat have any questions for the lovely and amazing Elle Newlands? She's here. Let's see. Have you attended any conventions? If so, what are some interactions you remember with fans? Well, pre-pandemic, I mean, and you can do virtual conventions, but...
Yeah, pre-pandemic. Well, I did BlizzCon, which was the Powerful Women of Warcraft, and I did the BlizzCon panel, I guess, as well. No, I did it as myself, but representing Moira Thorison. That was surreal. That was like 1,500 or 2,000 people. Like BlizzCon does it up, and before they brought out like a makeup artist, and
Wow.
they put like, they do your hair, they do your makeup. I was like, what's happening right now? And it was really cool because I did a signing afterwards, and I got to like sign a lot of, you know, stuff for a lot of fans.
Oh, that's cool.
That was my first experience. But I've done Comic-Con. I quite often get asked to do the Cartoon Voices panel.
Oh, yeah, at Comic-Con, yeah. Mark Evaniers. Yeah.
Mark Evaniers panel. So I did Cartoon Voices this year. I did Cartoon Voices this year online with, who was it? John Mariano, Alison Packard, the voice of Skeletor. I'm sorry, I'm like blanking right now. He was the voice of Skeletor, the original voice of Skeletor back in the day. I'm sorry, I'm like,
I keep thinking of the voice of Transformers. I keep thinking of Peter Cullen. I'm thinking, yeah, it's probably not the voice of Skeletor.
No,
yeah, but that's okay. Veteran, I know. Yeah.
He's got the most. He's got like the most creative one. So it's like crazy, and I did that with him. And sorry, I'm like blanking. I'm so it's like COVID. I'm just like, ugh. I don't remember names, and but I did that, and then I did Cartoon Voices at Comic-Con. That was really fun.
Alan Oppenheimer.
Alan Oppenheimer, thank you so much, Ghost of Reach. Yes, Alan Oppenheimer. Yes, and he was fantastic. He was pulling out some of the. I mean, it was just like a master class because people would ask him to do. He was doing his voices, and it was so incredible.
Yeah.
And then like I said, I did the Cartoon Voices panel, and I'm hoping I get to do panels at some point with Apex.
And when the pandemic lifts one of these days, I'd love to see an Apex Con where they get us legends together and we have fun. Ashley is telling me someone at Respawn told me to mention they loved you as Peter Potamus. Well, you tell them I love them too, Ashley. Ask them if they got that thing I sent you. Yeah, it's one of my weirder characters, but one of my favorites ever. It's for an Adult Swim show. Oh, let's see. Bella wants to know if you could sing for us. Well, we don't want to put you on the spot. For singers, you got to warm up and you got to, it's a whole thing.
I don't mind. I do a Celine Dion impersonation.
Oh, well, then we got to hear that.
Okay. Don't think I don't feel that there's something wrong. You were the sweetest part of my life for so long. I look in your eyes, there's a distant light. And I know there'll be a storm tonight. This is getting serious. I am thinking about you always. That's my Celine Dion.
That was very well played. And pitch perfect, too, by the way. You did those little runs, and my wife's a singer. She'd have been very impressed by that. No warm-up, no nothing. All you have to do is the Celine.
I was going to do that, but then I was like,
the French Canadian.
My name is Celine Dion.
The greatest singer in the world.
So much. I love you all. Thank you so much. I love you.
I once saw a comedian say that, oh, I know why she does this. She's got a little defibrillator in there because she's trying to keep her heart going.
Very small. I actually went to see her. I did a show years ago, and like I had to do research for Celine Dion, and I went to see her at Caesar's Palace when she was still in residence.
Must be a hell of a show.
I mean, she is outstanding. She is outstanding. I can't even. It's just like she blew everybody off she's running around singing. I mean, her voice alone is incredible, but she's running around stage. I mean, for 2 hours, I think it was even more than 2 hours. She's running around, she's dancing, and the way she interacts is like, I don't know. I'm a big Celine Dion fan. I am.
I heard, this could be apocryphal, that when she's not doing shows, she doesn't talk at all for the whole day. Like she'll rest her voice completely. Maybe not now so much. Maybe she doesn't do as many shows, but in between shows, she will say nothing all day.
That's possible. Yeah, I would imagine that. I mean, I think for the shows that she was doing, I think she was doing like 6 nights a week in residence. And for the stuff that she was doing was like hardcore.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man.
So.
Okay. Tech savvy gamer wants to know, have you ever been to horse shows or have you ever ridden in a horse show yourself, like show jumping?
Yeah.
That could be a pretty rough sport.
I got hurt a lot. When I was a kid, I used to jump. I used to do,
okay.
shows, and I would do jumps and stuff. And I came off a few times, and I've come off my horse a few times. My horse, she used to be a polo horse.
Mm-hmm.
I don't play polo, but she was a polo horse, and she was imported from Argentina. And she is an Argentine thoroughbred, and she's fast. I mean, she's a big girl, and she's fast. But she's kind of lazy because she's older now. But when I first got her, there was one time I was just riding around the property, and I was like what's called bareback, where there's like no saddle, and I think I had like a rope halter. I didn't even have like a bridle, and I was just moseying around. And I just happened to look up this hill, and I was like, God, and I thought to myself, it would be so cool to just gallop up that hill. And I don't know, I think my horse has some kind of ESP, because she just went, all right then. And she took off up that hill. And at first I was like, because I was like totally unprepared. But then you could just hear me screaming. Like, I was just like, wow, this is so great. Wow, like running up this hill. She's like galloping. And that's when I felt her go full pelt. And she's fast. Very fast.
So, yeah, I would think polo horses, are they a little more aggressive because of the nature of the game, the stopping, the starting, the mixing it up with other horses? Yeah,
I mean, actually they're the best horses to have because they live in God, what do you call them? Again, I'm like forgetting words. Sorry guys, it's 2020.
Timeshare condos. Duplex.
It's like a polo team, it's like string. You call them a string. So it's like most people who play polo have 5 or 6 horses so that they can swap them out throughout the chukkers. And so a polo horse is actually a really great horse to own because they're used to being around tons and tons of other horses, and you do what's called ponying. So you ride one horse and then you hold and I used to do that. I used to exercise the polo horses before I bought her, and you would hold like 3 horses on each side with just 3 horses on each side, and you're on one horse, and you're like riding this horse with like 6 horses on either, like 6 horses, and you're like, God. So, but it's like they're so great at being, in that string that they basically are the easiest horses in the world to own because they get along with other horses. They don't kick, they don't bite, they're not all squealy and weird. They're just chill.
I could never. I only did the horse ride a couple of times, the Hollywood one. And I never got beyond. I don't even think we did a gallop of any kind. It was mainly just walking, just sort of trotting along. And I think at one point we did a very brief. What is it, like a canter?
Yes, canter.
Okay. And I thought I don't know if I could stay on. I mean, this is kind of brutal. You smack it up against that saddle. Just have no way of knowing how to handle it the first couple of times you do it. I mean, after a while, I'm sure you know what to do with your hips, with your thighs, how to brace and all that. But man, the next day I was feeling it.
Yeah, I mean, because you're using your core, you're using your inner thigh, you're using muscles. Most people, when they get on a horse for the first time, it's like to balance. It's a very intense sport because
Uh-huh.
you have to use your core muscles and you have to use your, inner thighs and um, just to stay on to
Hmm.
balance. And when you start adding in, the 3 beat gait, the 4 beat gait, the different movements the different speeds that they go at, then you're talking like different types of balance. And then if you're running in a circle, which most of the time you are with horses, you're just running in freaking circles. um, you have to balance for that too. So you end up with really good core technique.
See, one of those things. I don't know how much the pandemic has affected horse riding. But one of these days. Well, actually, I can't go with my wife because she has restrictions now on her health because she's a heart attack survivor and has an aneurysm. It's never burst or anything.
Oh
But
my.
she can't ride horses now, so which is a shame because my wife on a horse would be adorable. She's like 5'3". You just see this tiny little lady
Your
up on
wife
top
is
of a huge.
beautiful. She's beautiful.
She is beautiful. I married up, as they say.
Yeah,
Um,
she's beautiful. I met her a couple of times at the Simpsons parties.
oh yeah, the Simpsons parties is like when you go to Cold Stone ice cream, because everyone's in a great mood. So, you
Yeah,
ever been into a Cold Stone and just no one ever is in line at Cold Stone and they're cranky. They're just
they're
because they're
so
about to get ice cream. Yeah, you go to a
they're
Simpsons party, is everyone's really happy.
yeah, and
Yeah,
it's always a really fun time. And then Matt gets up, and it's a nice crew.
and then you eat a donut the size of a dinner plate, like I like to do.
The lard lad, that was always my favorite part.
That's my
The
favorite
lard
part of it
lad,
too. Yeah.
yeah.
All right, Mercenario Zorro wants to know: do you play video games? Do you play
uh,
it? Have you played at all? We know you don't have a console now.
No, I have in the past. I've played, but probably like I love those fight games. Those ones where it's the ring, the arena, and it's like you play somebody and you just kick them and punch them.
Like
Like,
Tekken. Like,
yeah, I like those.
yeah,
Where I'm just like boom, 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 boom. That's me. Yeah.
doing the Tekken. All right, so yeah, you're old school Street Fighter, that kind of
Yes.
stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll take a couple more, and then I'll see if I can download this game. Okay, for Elle, of all the legends, who do you think Horizon would be close to? Do you know the other legends well enough? Yeah, I
Mm,
don't think she's got enough backstory.
no.
Yeah.
No.
Now, did they
No.
tell you much about her little robot Newt? Did you get to see a lot of art of that, or just not a whole lot of renderings, huh?
No, I think like they were working on it as we were going. So plus, it's just like they were really trying to figure out the character. Because
Yeah.
it's my first season, so it was like, let's just really hone this character down. And but it was really, I have to say, like working with Respawn, it was a blast. I had a really, really good time. And it's been a bright spot in my year because it's been a crazy year for all of us. And this is like probably the best. This is the best thing that happened to me by far this year.
Yeah.
Um, and it's this is probably. I mean, it's hard because you say that about all your characters, but I think this might be my favorite character. I think
Really?
yeah, I think so. I just, she's so close to who I am. Like you want to say, oh, it was such a stretch because it makes you look like a better actor, but no, she's actually very close to who I am as a person. So it was kind of heartwarming to play something that you can just bring yourself to and know that it's, just a really pleasant. This is a really pleasant experience, I have to say.
Here's one. Quick, Benji. What is your favorite one-off cameo character been? Maybe we just made one appearance in something.
Uh, Gosh, I can't. I can't think. Can't think.
It's hard because a lot of times there can be a lot of those things that sort of add up. You make one appearance in something. Have you done any on-camera stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I've done commercials. I did commercials when I first started. I've done some movies. I did this really cool short film for it. So the company, the visual effects company that did all of the, he's called Aaron Sims Creative, and he is
Uh,
a giant creature visual effects. I mean, they did the aliens and AI.
Okay.
I mean, they've done it all. And so we did this short. I guess they were crowdfunding for a movie about a robot called RL7, which was very cool. I have a YouTube, by the way, with clips. So if anyone, it's just my name. I think you've all been going there and writing Horizon, which is hilarious. Like,
Oh, of
but
course.
I think that film might be on YouTube. I don't know. But it was a really, I played this doctor, this British doctor. And it was the visual effects in this were like unbelievable. It was insane. And that was really fun because so I guess that would probably be one of my most fun experiences on camera because I got to interact with like a robot that's, VFX. He wasn't
Right.
really there. But it's just when I saw it, after it was made, could not believe how incredible. Well, I could because it's Aaron Sims, but I could not believe how incredible the work was. Amazing, and it was just really fun to get to like perform with this. Well, not with, but like having this robot in the scene, like a giant robot. We're talking a big robot.
A lot of this, yeah, a lot of this is the hard part because since you've done stand up, and I was a road comic for 10 years back in the 90s and the early aughts. When you perform live, you get the immediate connection with the audience, the immediate gratification. When you do voiceover, you do a voice acting scene, you might not see it for 9 months or a year. It can take a long time to get that delayed gratification, but it's still very gratifying. But I do miss that immediate connection with the crowd. That's not a question, I guess. It's a statement.
Well, I mean, that's like I said, I used to do stand up, and that was one of my favorite things about stand up comedy was when I stood up on that stage, it was weird. It was like I have a lot of nerves about, I have nerves and anxiety. I had nerves and anxiety about this. I still do. But it was weird when I got up on stage for even when I was a singer, because I used to be a professional singer. I used to be a session singer in Scotland, and then I went on tour and did backup singer. And even singing, I was kind of nervous. But for some reason, when I got up and did stand up, it was just like, maybe it was my sass, my Scottish sass, but I was just like, this is where I want to be right now. And I would just I got into because I did improv at the Groundlings, and I Upright Citizens, UCB. I'd done a lot of improv training and comedy training. And so that was kind of like my jam, was just to stand up. And that was it's such a cool place to be because the audience is like right there. And if you suck, they're there, but they're right in your face. But if they love you. And so it's a really, really good trial by fire for any actor to just get up there and try and work a room like that. It's really good.
Well, that's interesting to me because most people are terrified of stand-up. And
it was weird.
And the other kinds of acting, yeah, of course, they can give you butterflies, but stand-up, usually people go, no, I don't want to try that. And yet you get up there and it's a fit.
I loved it. And one of the things I used to love was I would get invited. I think a lot of it was my accent as well, but I would get invited to host. So I would get invited to come along and host people's shows. So I was like introducing the next comic and telling some jokes. And that was where my improv training, I was when I really realized that I absolutely love to just riff, get up and riff. So,
That is funny to hear that when people talk about their anxieties, and some brilliant actors have social anxiety. They don't know how they're going to connect with other people. They worry about how they come off. And it's almost rare to find somebody who is a gifted performer and to not hear later on from them that, I'm very shy. But something happens. Someone once described it perfectly. When you step on stage, you're stepping through this invisible curtain. It's like an invisible shower. You step through it and you're a different person.
That's 100%. It's crazy. And it's funny because we were talking about Roger earlier. He's like one of the funniest humans I have ever met in my life.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about quick on your feet.
Yeah.
It's like, shut up. Because it's just that's such a gift. And I think that was what I loved about stand-up was I just got to in the moment just say whatever I was thinking and take a risk. And I think that it does. It's like you were asking earlier about my process, and I think like doing stand up and doing improv for so long just really made me sort of like I'm not afraid to
Uh-huh.
take a chance, like to just take a chance on something and just try it and see if it works, and if it fails, I
Yeah.
mean,
Well, that's what happened with me in stand up is that, I mean, there's a lot of failure in stand up because it's immediate. Joke doesn't work. Okay, fine. We'll tell you with our silence. Or if your set doesn't work, you'll know because you'll feel like killing yourself after it's over and, crawling under a rock. And when I segued into voice acting, it was a gradual segue. I was doing voice stuff even while I was doing stand up. To me, it was an enormous advantage because when you're primed for comedy and for timing and for thinking on your feet, voice acting is right in your wheelhouse because so much of the copy, the script, invites you to do that.
yeah. And I always do like in auditions. I don't know. I mean, I don't try and overpower the writing, but I definitely always add a button, or I make the character, especially if I'm doing it in a Scottish or a British accent, I'll take some colloquialisms and I'll just sort of like spin it a little to make it mine.
Right.
Uh, and oh, you know, so you're asking about on camera. So one of the funniest stories ever was I auditioned for this thing years ago. It was for a Fox reality TV show called Hollywood House Husbands of Hollywood was the name of the reality TV show. And they did this spin-off, like this web series, which was so funny. And so I went into audition in Fox, and it was like this massive conference table of like 10 dudes sitting. And I come in and I sit down and I did it in American because that's what they asked for. And so as I was leaving, I'm like, thanks, great. As I'm leaving, I turn around as I'm just about to close the door and I go, it was just an instinct. I was like, does anybody want to hear this in Scottish? And this one guy went, I do. Like he put his hand up, and then I did the character as she was supposed to be called Victoria Sampon. That was her name. So then she became Victoria McDougall Sampon. And it was like this bitchy chef character. She was a Scottish chef. She was such a bitch. And it was so awesome playing her. But that's probably one of my best audition stories ever, because I just went in there and I did it as an American. And then I'm like, hey, does anyone want to hear this in Scottish? And they were like, what just happened? Because I went in and when I audition, I go in and I talk in an American accent. I don't break character. So
Okay.
all of a sudden they've sat in a room with me and I'm this American and I'm playing this American role. And then I'm walk out and I turn around, I'm like completely a different person. They're like, are we getting pumped? Like what's happening here? And I got the role and it was really cool. And it was one of the best like comedy things I've ever done. It was so good.
See,
It was so well written.
you went for it. You went
Yeah.
for it. You figure, what's the worst that can happen? I mean, I think George Clooney said this. You were unemployed before you walked in. Chances are you'll be unemployed when you walk out. Why not go for it and not have any regrets? You're probably not going to blow it by trying something else.
Well, I also think that I mean, I don't know. I've always been this way. I don't want to live with any regret. Like I don't know. I can be annoying. I'm kind of like, I made this joke recently. I've got like, I'm a very enthusiastic person. Let's just say that. Like I kind of show up like a puppy, like a Labrador puppy at times. But it's like, I don't know. It's like, I feel like, what do you have to lose? You've got this one life. Like
Yeah.
people don't want you to fail. Like, and that's the thing about actors. They get so, we all do, we get so hung up on, it's like nobody wants you to fail. They want you to win, especially if you're being auditioned or you're being called back. They actually want you to win. So it's like,
Yeah, they want to wrap this shit up so they can get to shooting this thing. They're tired of
yeah,
seeing people. They want the next person to walk in the door to be the one. Please, it's lunch.
yeah. So
Yeah.
that's, I don't know. I try and show up to things with, with enthusiasm and gratitude, because I don't know. I feel like, especially this year, I mean, I felt like this before, but this year has really shown me that, it's like we just have we have a short life. We think we're here for this really, really long time, but it's like a blink. It's a blink and you miss it. And so I always said when I was a kid, I was like, I'm just gonna I'm just going to live as much life as I can. And I mean, I moved here. I've done I used to do red carpet hosting.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was a red carpet host. I've interviewed Charlize Theron, Rob Lowe, like, you know, big directors. Like I used to do festivals. I would do like red carpet festival stuff. And I just did all this stuff because I just wanted to try it. Same with stand-up. I was like, I just want to try stand-up. And I just wanted to try a bunch of stuff because I was like, you know what? I don't know how long I have here, but while I'm here, I'm going to take up space.
Who did you do the red carpet stuff for? What was the company?
Oh, I would just get hired like from, like, I did the Santa Barbara Film Festival a few times.
Okay.
And I did some stuff here in LA. I didn't do it for a really, really long time because then I got into voiceover.
Okay.
And then like around the time I was doing it, that's when kind of like when my voiceover sort of hit. And so, and I told you this funny story. I have to tell this funny story. The first person that I ever did I told you this the other night. The first person that I ever did an acting class with. So I don't know, 16 years ago, I walk into this voiceover acting class. I'd never been a voiceover actor. I walk in and I just start chatting with this very funny guy. And we do this 6-week class and it was Roger. It was before Roger was an actor. Like before Roger was Roger, before I did it. And that was the moment I was kind of like, after that class, I was like, wow, this is really fun. Like we did commercial and animation and we tried Walla. We did all different things. I was like, this is something I could really enjoy. I was like, this is a really fun thing. So then I just decided to really go for the voiceover stuff instead.
Yeah. And well, watching you, the facility you have with trotting these characters out, slipping in and out of them, obviously it's a natural thing. Even if you've worked at it, yeah, I think you're working from a very natural foundation. That's just, like can spot like. And when you're going into an audition, you have no trouble going for it. You have no trouble trying these things. But then you say you have anxiety about this because these people are watching. And I'd never had any anxiety about this stuff at all. I don't know why, but maybe it's the perspective you have on it. If you see this as just another thing that you're going to try, these people all want you to win. They all love Horizon already. They certainly are digging you. So
it's a big deal.
It's a big
Apex
deal.
Legends is a big deal.
It's not that big of a deal.
It's a big deal. This is a big deal. This is a huge, huge thing. And
it's not that big of a deal.
It is. It's a big deal. Like this is an incredible community, and it's like, it's. I wanna make sure I live up to the hype.
There's no hype. It's not. Well, there's nothing you have to live up to. Trust me.
Oh, but it's like
I have set the bar so low that you will cruise above it. It's okay. I mean, the people who come to my stream expect me to completely fuck up the tech. They expect me to have problems with sound. The fact that you were in frame and not blurry and didn't sound like you were Neil Armstrong walking on the moon already is a massive win for this stream. So you are already you're playing with so much house money right now. So trust me, you're gold. I would imagine the jitters have worn off by now, right?
I mean, you know what it is? It's like I'm the new girl.
Yeah, new girl at school.
And you walk into an established thing with an established cast, with an established rapport, and I've tried really hard to read up on Apex, and I'm trying very, very hard to study it, but it's kind of an interesting, complicated.
It is.
Game with lots of characters and backstories, so I'm probably quieter because I'm not fully aware of the world, the environment yet.
It's okay. My mod June is saying, yeah, honestly, I'm surprised there weren't any technical issues. Thank you, June. It's that vote of confidence that I always cherish. That my mods know me very well. It's like, yeah, Chris actually got on the internet. He didn't screw up the Twitch. He somehow got her on Zoom and there were no problems. It's like, yeah, I eventually can learn. I can be taught. Yeah. So, hey, the update might have actually finished. Let me see. It's not finished yet. It looks like it's almost done, though. It looks like it's almost done. Do you want to see what the game looks like?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, I think it's going to be close to being finished here. We should have gotten liquor. You should have gotten a little, drambuie on your end.
I should have gotten a little salty. No,
yeah, no, no, I don't mean get drunk for it. I mean like toast season 7.
Oh, well, I can toast it with my water.
Yeah, I'll toast it with my agua here.
My plastic beaker.
Yeah, bebemos. Do you speak any other languages? I'm Slanja. Here's looking up your old address.
Je parle français un petit peu. Je m'appelle Elle.
Okay, yeah, I don't speak any French.
J'habite à Topanga. That's it.
Okay, yeah. You've already said too much.
That's because I love Celine Dion. We've already established that.
Well, I actually, I can't say any more about it, but I auditioned for a character that is French for a show today. And it wouldn't have been, well, of the show, but that's all I could say. So I'm sure you must have fun with certain accents more than others. Are there ones where it's right in your wheelhouse and you think, oh yeah, this accent, I don't even have to think about it. Others, okay, I got to go to the internets and I got to do my research and get it down,
Well, I mean, I do a lot of British, where I have to do the RP.
Yeah, the received pronunciation, yes.
I think that's more my Tess Gray main. She's more in that realm.
Yeah, but you don't have to think about that. That's probably just a muscle you're activating there.
There's a lot of, I love Russian, like talk like this.
Right.
A lot of Russian accent.
Right.
Potato, I don't know.
Potato.
Potato. I made vodka from potato.
Hey, watch what I'm going to do.
I love accents. Oh, we're going in?
Well, yeah, but keep talking.
I do love accents, and I think that's like probably why I became a voice actor. Like I said, I was doing all this red carpet stuff, and I was like, man, I did that class, and it was so fun, and I was like, I live here. This is where I live. I'm gonna start paying rent to voiceover because I live here. So
right.
That's where I live. I live in voiceover world, so and I've enjoyed it for many a year.
We can see Elle, we can hear Elle. And now we're going to get into the actual game.
I don't think I have Dat Boy because I don't know what the cinematic is. I don't think I've seen that unless it's something they've already played. I haven't.
Okay, Brendan the Fraser. No, I did not do Randy Newman's voice in the new Treehouse. That was Dan Castellaneta, and he did a brilliant one.
Oh no, I have seen this one. This is
yeah.
Yeah, no, I've seen that.
Yeah, we know this one.
I just noticed her hair fly up. That's really funny. I never noticed that before. Her hair just goes.
Bloody hell. Bath, can you track the jump signature?
I can. Go me.
Right. Are you ready?
Go me.
Am I ready? Ready for what?
So does it go from this straight into the game?
I think it probably does. And then you'll see how shitty I am at this game. It's going to be awesome.
Not too shabby. Drop me off at the Lido deck. I'm late for my massage. What is that?
Maybe it's the welcome committee.
Hey, thanks for the follow.
Bye, friend.
Someone up 3 hours looks like I'm
yeah. And I think the game audio is delayed slightly on this. That could just be because the servers are overwhelmed. Yeah, audio delay, that's probably a server's overwhelmed thing.
I love that where she twirls. She twirls. That's the best intro ever. Where she just twirls around.
Here's a Pathfinder move I could never pull off in game. Ever.
So good. They're so good. Oh.
Yes, they are.
God bless them.
Shall we carry on then?
Such a thrill.
Nothing personal.
I love all her little twiddles. She does like little twiddly things. Like she does like this. Like I don't know. It's like she does this like mad.
Did you do that stuff while you were recording? Do you think they picked up on it?
I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I did the facial capture stuff.
Okay.
And I notice it because sometimes when I talk out the side of my mouth, and I notice that she sometimes talks out the side of her mouth because it's my facial capture.
Yeah, and that's directly from. Okay, let's see. Continue.
Like here, she goes like this, like, and then she does it at one point. She's like driving, and she does this with her fingers. It's like cute. She's adorable. Like I'm so in love with her. Seriously. I'm like in love with what's happening right now because I recognize so many of your names. Like I'm and it's going really fast, so I'm sorry I'm not doing shout outs, but like I'm actually recognizing so many of the handles, and I'm like, ah!
How are you recognizing their handles?
Because I'm totally like living on Twitter now.
Oh, you are? Okay, yeah.
I-
There's quite a bit of cross-pollination there.
Yeah, I pay rent on Twitter now as well. Like that's where I live. Like just like I moved into voiceover, I've moved into Twitter at the same time. It's like, you know, the crossover. But I recognize a lot of the people. I don't know anything other than what I've seen in the cinematics.
All right, well, I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to jump in a match.
Oh, you should try Ragtag. He's Scottish. That's that Scottish guy.
Yeah, I know. I don't know if Ragtag's on right now.
Oh, okay.
Let me see. I tell you what, I'll Yeah, Ragtag may be asleep. It is very late in the UK.
He's in Scotland.
You know, as you know, you don't want to awaken a Scot when he's not had enough sleep.
No. That would be tragic.
So what's happening right now is we have this new background. All right, now,
thanks
club.
for the
What is
follow.
club? Ooh, that's new. Wow, find a club. I am about to get into that. All right, these are the different legends. This is my PC account, which means I have not opened up all the legends on this one. On my Xbox, I have a bigger account. You can outfit different, and in your honor, I'm going to put the tartan fleece on Pathfinder.
That sounds like a plan. Wait, can't you play as Horizon so I can see Horizon in action?
I assumed we were going to have a Horizon in our group, but yes, you know what? I don't know. I may have to unlock Horizon. Let me take a look at the legends. Let me see.
I don't know how this works.
Yeah, no, I have to unlock her. Let me see if I can unlock her. Let me see if I have enough to unlock Horizon.
I'm gonna have to say I'm gonna have
Done!
to money now. I'm gonna have to Venmo you the money.
No, don't worry about it. It's like $10. It's nothing. Okay, we've got Horizon. Let me choose Horizon. Okay, so this is her passive skill, meaning increase air control and reduce fall impacts with Horizon's custom spacesuit. This is a thing that she can do without having to try. Tactical, something that helps you in battle and all that. She reverses the flow of gravity, lifting players upwards and boosting them outwards when they exit. And finally, the ultimate, the black hole. Deploy Newt to create a micro black hole that pulls players in towards it. I'm sure I'm going to find a way to fuck this up, but, you know. I'm excited. Okay, these are her different outfits, by the way. There's...
I like the one where she's like the dark one. That
Oh,
one.
this one right here?
Yeah.
That one?
I think so.
All right, done.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
Let's do this. All right.
Oh, he said it's from Battle.
Hey, thanks for
He
the
said it's
follow.
from Battle Pass. The one I don't know what that means.
Okay, that's a different animal there. You have to go in and buy a battle pass, and I usually don't even understand how to do that, but let's see.
No, this one's good. This one's it kind of
That was
looks
good?
like a little.
This is pretty cool. Okay, so I guess we get to walk around and maybe...
Safety first, dear.
Oh, someone's taking Horizon first. Damn it!
Butter me him.
What does that mean?
That means they took him before I could take him, so I'm going to have to take Pathfinder this time. But we'll take Horizon next time.
Oh, it's fun.
Let's
Yeah. What a shocker. Somebody took Horizon right away.
It's not like she's been getting rammed down everyone's throat for the last week. By me. By me.
Okay.
Awesome. I'm the jump master.
Wow.
Oh yeah, because you haven't seen yours either. Wow, listen to me, narcissistic actor. No, make it all about me.
I don't care.
You're not even in the game.
You're my guest. Holy
I know, but
look at
still,
this.
you want to see you. It's like
They've seen enough of me. This is the only character I kind of know how to use. I don't even know this. I don't even know what this is, but I'm going for it.
God, those maps are so just. Oof.
All right, this is scary right here. Okay, so what you do is you jump in and you immediately try to pick up weapons because the carnage is coming. And I'm just trying to absorb this whole map. This is amazing. Okay. Okay, so right now I'm just picking up items. And you always want to get a shield so you can absorb more damage. And then I've got a gun. I've got a Spitfire, which is a nice machine gun. You see that name on the screen right there?
Let's go this way.
That's where one of my compadres is, and I have to try and get near him because you go in as a team.
Right.
And you try to be the last team standing. Yeah, you just try to blow each other away, you know, but your team helps you. Wow, this is beautiful. This is beautiful.
It is.
This is amazing.
Is that a medic thing? Because it had a cross, like a cross
Yeah,
on it.
it'll help me heal.
Oh, I remember doing those lines.
And that's you. Okay, so this is a preview, meaning we get to look around. All right, so, okay, we can stop and smell the coffee a little bit here. This is beautiful. This is beautiful. All right, I'm going to go approach our Horizon, see if I can get her to say something.
Is it turned down because if you turn it up, you can't hear me? Is that why?
No, I mean, it should be turned up enough.
I can't, because I'm not hearing anything.
Oh, no?
Oh, you know what? It's because I've got it turned down on my phone. That's
Yeah,
why.
you might want to turn it up a wee bit.
Oh, because now I'm getting a delay, so that's why I can't
Oh, yeah. Okay.
turn it down. Because otherwise I'm going to be confusing everyone.
Okay. So you go to these are called loot bins, and you pick up ammo. You can carry 2 guns at once. And you switch back and forth between them. Then you want to carry ammunition for the guns.
Hey, thanks for the follow.
You can realize this is gorgeous. This map is gorgeous. I absolutely love this design. What I'm picking up now is just various accoutrements for my weapons, so I can reload faster. I can you know, have more ammunition, things like that. This is amazing. This is really beautiful.
Hey, thanks for the sub. You're my new best
Okay,
friend.
let's go find the rest of my squad and see if we can't. Let's see. I don't know about you, but when I recorded my lines, this was before the game had even been released, and I didn't know anything about it. They would describe the game to me, and I would nod my head like I understood, but I had no fucking clue.
Yeah.
Does that sound familiar to you?
Yes.
All right, here are my... All right, these are other characters. Okay, so this is just a bunch of people running around, getting to know the game. Let's see if we can get in to an actual match. We're going to get in, we're going to play.
Oh,
All right.
it scared
This
my
is
dog.
this is it. It may scare your dogs. It may.
It did scare my dog. Well, I have it turned down so because of the delays.
Okay.
It's on my phone, so this is so tiny. Turn it to the side if it will.
All right, I'm going to be Horizon.
Safety first, dears. And then, of course, utter mayhem.
It's a twiddle. You're doing a twiddle.
And I love this pen thing, and she goes,
All right, here we go.
Master.
"That's my
First
girl."
launch, though I usually launch in the other direction.
All right, that's everybody jumping. So they're jumping out of this drop ship. I'm going to wait. 60 people jump in.
Oh
20
my
squads. 20 squads of 3 each.
I say we land here.
Okay, fine, we'll end here.
We do this for science.
So for anyone that's, can they hear me? I'm like such a.
Yeah, they can hear you.
Okay, so has anybody actually played Horizon yet, or are we all sort of like?
This is so brand new. I don't know if anyone on this stream will have played Horizon. Okay,
To pick me up?
so that's one of the things she can do. Great, I've got a Mozambique. It's the worst damn gun in the game. Oh, okay.
That was the one that people kept saying. Say, oh, Mozambique, Mozambique.
First blood.
Yeah, Mozambique here.
First blood.
Hello, darling. Got
Blood
Mozambique.
sport would be so bloody.
I'm switching this weapon out because it's shite. Okay. Oh, that's a better weapon there. So right now I'm switching weapons to give myself a fighting chance.
June said they were an Apex QA tester, so they got a sneak peek.
Okay. Oh, that's one of the vehicles. I'm getting in it.
Benefact yourself. Here's a pick-me-up. Hop in the Trident. Places to go. People to shoot.
All right, let me find my teammates.
So that's the Trident, right?
Yeah.
Pure delight.
Is this you driving it?
My back, pal.
Yeah, not well, but you know.
Wow. Better than I could do.
Yeah, I mean, this is my first time I've done anything with it, so.
I'm just thinking like whoever somebody must have like maneuvered her for those trailers, and boy did they do a good job.
Oh, yeah.
I'm still like blown away with the work, with just the talent of the development and the artists and the sound and the writers, and oh my lord, it's a work of art.
It is pretty nice.
1 minute. Rings nearby.
Okay, nobody wants to jump in my little, oh, wait a minute.
What happened there? Like you bounced out.
Yeah. Oh, you know, nobody wanted to go for a ride, so I'm just
45
gonna...
seconds, and the ring ain't far at all.
And so that's you picking up supplies.
Yeah, picking up stuff so I may more efficiently kill people.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the hope at least. Okay.
Enemy
I
spotted.
do remember
Reckon we
seeing
should
loot
head
bin
here.
a lot.
Oh, yeah.
How about a wee pick-me-up?
Firing.
All right, they are definitely getting into it, so let me see if I can
We're
help
spread
out.
out, darlings. Don't be afraid to get close and cozy.
Reloading. Eating lead.
All right, my friends need help.
Reloading.
Hey, thanks for the follow.
That was the whole squad. No quarter given. Give me a sec. Recharging shields.
How about a wee pick-me-up?
Oh, I fell. I fell. Great, now I have to wait for them to somehow come and get me, which I don't know if they will because they don't know me. These are people playing all over the world, and now I'm dead. And so when you die in the game, your death box just sits there like a little coffin. And if they come over and they grab your banner, they can take it to a respawn beacon where they can bring you back.
Watch your backs.
But if you're playing with people that don't know you and don't give a shit about you, they may not bother. But let's see if this person bothers. Let's see. It's Pathfinder, for the love of God, and Horizon herself.
Give us a leg up here.
Yeah, I know. I wish they could hear you in the game.
Yeah, that would be fun. I'd have to have a head. Right.
All right, let's see if they're trying. I don't know if they're gonna. Well, this person got hurt. They got into a fight. Okay, yep. They're grabbing my beacon. Now you get to see what happens when you get respawned. So they take you to this beacon here. And when you see other death boxes like that, that means that's where people have died, where they've gotten into fights and lost. All right.
Wow. I can't hear a thing, so it's weird. I'm just watching it in silence.
Well, turn it up.
Finish the last of them.
Double timing it.
Back from a weekend.
Need lead. They got me. I'm down. Contact.
All right, let me go and try and help my friends.
Bless me. Sight. Lay low. I will assist you.
Reloading.
Give my shields a recharge.
Sorry, it's like now I'm getting on a delay, so you're hearing you and me and.
Recharging my shields.
Reloading. Stop to the last one. Get them. I'm the kill leader. Ready for bear. Healing.
So now I'm just sort of reloading.
Evo shield here. Level 3. Taking a knee. Patching up. Ready for bear. Healing.
So now I'm just sort of reloading.
Evo shield here.
Thanks, darling.
Yeah, and when I push down, I can say different things.
Oh, pure delight.
Marking our surroundings.
Thanks, darling.
Evo shield here.
Yeah, and when I push down,
Sorry, it's totally this
say
delay thing, so you're gonna hear yourself.
that's okay.
I have an
Did I just say pure dead brilliant? What did I say there?
Pure delight, maybe, or
Sorry, it's totally this delay thing, so you're gonna hear yourself.
that's okay. Let's see if I can find some more ammo here. Delight, maybe, or
Hey, thanks for the follow.
that's okay. I can find some more ammo here. Now, if you notice, in the upper left corner of the screen, you see a little map with these 3 triangles moving around. That's us in our squad.
Hey, thanks for the
Right.
follow.
If you look at the larger map here, you see this ring we're in. Now it's getting smaller. We want to go.
Fancy a wee stroll this way?
Of the screen.
We are not all in the ring.
There is a ring of fire, basically, that will melt you. It does damage to you if it closes in on you. So we're constantly all being pushed
Touching down.
into an ever-shrinking ring on this map. So it forces all the squads together. Fire, basically, that will melt you. It does damage.
You sound different in the. It's weird. Your voice sounds different in game than it does listening to you on that.
Mind your car keys.
I have no idea how to use this. Where is everybody? Oh, they're down here. Oh! Uh-oh.
Watch out. Tango's getting revived. Enemy reviving here. Enemy here. Safety's off, folks. Enemies here.
Reloading.
Bad guy. Outside door.
Ah! I got killed again.
Thanks for the follow.
You die a lot in this game. Oh, I don't know if you noticed.
Yes. Wait, have I been spawned yet? I didn't see my respawn.
Hey, thanks for the follow.
Spanish Assassin on the chat. Yes, this is my first game of the season. I'm accompanied by the lovely and talented Elle Newlands, voice of Horizon, who is overwhelmed, I'm sure, at seeing all this.
It's a game though. Holy moly.
I know. Okay, yeah. You see these stats? You see how I did 97 damage, 0 kills. The person to my left, the man from PR, 1 kill, 533 damage. Is not bad. The one on the right, Dirty DJ Asp, 6 kills, 1,500 damage. This is a person who plays a lot, and they're a badass at the game.
Thanks for the follow.
Me, not so much. Not so much. But that's okay. We just wanted to take a little tour. That's all.
We did.
We did. Is there anything you would like to say to the fans of Apex and the people on the chat right now before we go?
I'm just really, thank you. I'm so overwhelmed by how warm and lovely this community is and how overwhelmingly sweet everybody has been. And just bear with me because I'm so new to, I don't know, even Twitter. I'm kind of new to Twitter. I used it before, but not the way I am now. And so thank you. Thank you so much. It's really lovely to get to know you guys and see everybody's names come up and go, oh, I remember them. So it's awesome.
Well, I think they already are in love with Horizon, and they're definitely getting to know you. And yes, I mean, you can come back on here anytime you want, but if you are thinking about starting a Twitch, then, you know, they have just chatting, they have singing, they have anything you want to do on your Twitch, you can do it. So, you know,
Okay.
yeah.
You think people would come and just listen to me yammer?
They listened to you for 2 hours tonight. So, yeah. Yes, to answer your question, yes, I believe people would come and listen to you yammer.
Okay.
To hear you weege all over the place.
I, at some point, will be weedging all over the place, yammering, and doing my thing. But thank you so much, Chris. I appreciate it. This has been really fun.
Absolutely.